Hey guys, Movieopolis X here, and today we're covering the cryptic horror movie titled No One Gets Out Alive, which released in 2021. Fair warning, there are spoilers in this summary. Take a look, subscribe, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. The movie begins with footage shot in Mexico in 1963. Arthur Wells, an archaeologist, created the video. Arthur is seen in the video exploring a structure located deep within the jungle. Strange symbols and heaps of shackled human skeletons indicate that they were sacrificed. A mysterious box is retrieved from the depths of the earth. The movie then jumps to the present day. A woman is pictured on the phone with her brother in a Cleveland boarding house. She appears to be talking with her family in Mexico. While she is on the phone with her brother, she informs him that she has been having awful dreams. Her door handle appears to self-lock. She displays a strong desire to leave the apartment. This house appears to be haunted. She notices the appearance and disappearance of footsteps on the floor. Suddenly, the electricity goes out. She suddenly hears a huge rumbling noise coming from the other direction and proceeds to examine. Naturally, the victim becomes inquisitive. She discovers an odd stone box in the adjacent room, but is unaware of a ghostly person standing directly behind her. The box suddenly begins to move nearer. The spectral creature suddenly grabs her from behind, frightening her. The movie then cuts to the rear of a vehicle transporting scores of undocumented Mexicans. Immigrants are dropped off in Cleveland, Ohio by the human trafficker. Amber Cruz, a woman from Mexico, is one of the newcomers. Amber is able to secure employment in an illegal switch show. She stays at a cheap motel for 2 weeks, but the proprietor is constantly harassing her for identification. She becomes dissatisfied and begins seeking a new location to reside. She discovers a flyer promoting a low-cost women-only boarding house. She quickly packs her belongings and moves in without hesitation. A man named Red Wells owns the house. Red adds that the complex is currently home to only 2 women, including Amber. Recognizing Amber's status as an illegal immigrant, Red requests payment of her 1-month rent. Amber pays him in advance from a cash reserve. She appears to have saved money before departing. Red informs her that if she requires anything, he resides on the complex's top floor. Amber later hears the sound of someone crying coming from an air vent. When she investigates, she discovers Freya, the woman who lives in the apartment directly under her, in tears. She brushes it aside and returns to her bed, where she gazes at photographs of her deceased mother. She is remembering her final moments with her. Amber's mother was hospitalized for an extended period of time before her death. She recalls her mother touching her hair from her hospital bed and pleading with her to stay with her for an extended period of time. The following day, on her way to work, she runs into Freya. Amber introduces herself and informs her that Red informed her of her existence. Prior to leaving, Freya says that Red is a piece of... 2 ghostly women are spotted upstairs, listening in on their conversation. Amber's manager does not appear pleased with her performance at work. She apologizes and promises to do better in the future. Amber has developed a friendship with a coworker named Kinsey. Kinsey is assisting Amber in obtaining identification. Kinsey informs her that a contract has increased the price to $3,000 for the Texas ID. Naturally, Amber does not have $3,000 sitting around. Thus, Kinsey inquired as to what an Amber obtained an Ohio-based identification card, but Amber claims that she requires a Texas-based identification card after work. Amber uses his link to arrange for a taxi to meet her distant Uncle Beto and his family for supper in the suburbs. Beto has secured a good job for Amber and has asked her to bring her identification card to her job interview the following Friday. Seeing how cold it is outside, he has even asked his wife to give her a coat. During their conversation, it is revealed that Amber was unable to attend college due to her sick mother. Amber placed her own life on hold to care for her ill mother. Amber tells that she intends to enroll in a night school specializing in business management. Amber hears noises coming from the basement upon her return from Beto's. When she goes to inspect, she notices scratch marks that appear to be caused by someone's nails. Red appears and informs her that the basement is private as she continues her investigation. Amber apologizes and requests a refund of her deposit from Red. He claims she requires it for an urgent matter, but he informs her that he has already spent her money on refurbishing. She returns to her apartment and hears Freya crying via the air vent. Amber decides to check on her this time and walks to Freya's room. However, she discovers Freya's door open and unlocked. Amber returns to her room and becomes absorbed once more in her mother's thoughts. She recalls her mother complimenting her on her hair. Amber's mother also inquires as to if she is comfortable with her mother taking care of her, rather of attending college. Amber responds that it is an honor for her to look after her mother. Suddenly, the mom becomes aware of the stone box in the room's corner. This is the identical box as the one seen earlier in the movie. From within the box, a hand appears and proceeds to emerge. Amber awakens in a cold sweat, recognizing it was either a bad dream or it wasn't the following day at work. Amber requests an advance salary from her boss, but he declines. He He reprimands her for poor performance and tells her that she is fortunate to have a job at all. After work, Amber goes out with Kinsey. Kinsey inquires as to why she is so adamant about acquiring a Texas-issued ID. By Friday, Amber reveals that she lied to her uncle about being a Texas-born U.S. citizen in order to obtain a good-paying job that required an American ID. She expresses how her life did not go as planned. Kinsey empathizes with her predicament and offers to cover the remaining bills on her own. Amber is relieved and hands Kinsey the $1,000 she had set aside for the ID. Amber expresses her gratitude abundantly and pledges to repay her as soon as possible as she walks towards her building in the distance behind her. Amber is unaware for a few seconds until a frightening woman appears. When she returns home, she discovers a bald man banging his head repeatedly on the cellar door. She is slightly alarmed, but chooses to ignore him. Amber returns to her apartment and overhears someone reading a wicked chant and knocking on it once before fleeing. Later in the building, she encounters two Romanian women. They are Maria and Petra as they become acquainted. Red makes his appearance and escorts the ladies away. Amber inquires about the bald man, who turns out to be Red's ailing brother, Becker. Amber enters Red's father's study area after he left. She discovers photographs of Red and Becker, as well as their parents, Arthur and Mary Wells. However, Arthur's face has been crossed. Additionally, the area features an antique tape recorder. She overhears a man talking about a rite that requires the elderly, women, and children to be sacrificed in exchange for blessings. Additionally, the room contains black magic books that select individuals to be beheaded and sacrificed. Additionally, she finds photographs of Arthur and Mary holding the stone box that has been haunting her dreams. It is becoming increasingly creepy. Amber attempts to call Kinsey many times the following day, but her phone always goes straight to voicemail. Amber discovers Kinsey has resigned from her job after stealing her money. You cannot place your trust in anyone too soon. Amber requests Kinsey's address from her supervisor, but when he refuses to comply with corporate policy, she raises her voice in exasperation. He dismisses her from her position. Amber gets home and showers, but odd occurrences continue to occur. She hears muffled screams coming from the drain, but when she turns off the showerhead, the sound stops, and Amber notices Freya approaching her like a zombie, but when she pulls back the shower curtains, Freya vanishes. Frightened, Amber gets dressed and rushes out of the bathroom, where she runs into Red. When he inquires as to why she seems so fearful, she informs him of Freya, but Red informs her that Freya has already left. He also informs her that the complex's new inhabitants have moved in. Thus, he could return the deposit as she requires it. Amber makes her way back to her room. She is still reeling from what she witnessed in the restroom. She consoles herself by listening to her mother's old voicemail. She then smacks a moth with her palm after noticing it. Then she notices another, which leads her to Mary's spirit. She goes insane and the spirit vanishes. Then, Amber notices that her door has been opened, and as she looks around nervously, the ghost of a woman in trouble comes into her room. Mary's spirit follows the woman into the room and drags her violently outside. The woman begs Mary to release her. But Mary informs her that she must prepare herself for Arthur to harm both of them. Amber descends with the two souls. Outside the basement, the woman begs for her release, but a hand appears from within and drags her inside. Amber has a nervous breakdown and intends to depart the complex permanently. She summons assistance from Beto, but he informs her that he is out of town with his family. He requests that she contact the authorities, but she comes clean about her running from the law. He advises her to avoid getting into mischief and that he will return to take her up as soon as possible. Amber then goes into Fred's room and asks for her deposit back, but Beck is there to answer the door. He informs her that she is not at home and invites her to return later. Amber decides to vacate the complex and leaves. However, she continues to see the stone box even when she is outside the house. She sees the ghost of her mother in the subway and something creeping out of the box. She snaps out of her dream and finds she is in a cafe, at which point she summons Fred to meet her. He informs her that he is unable to provide the money at the moment. But if she wants to get the money, she needs to go with him to the complex. She informs him that she does not wish to return to that location. Red then explains that Becker was acting strangely due to his illness. Becker looked after Red because their father was basically a piece of SHT. And Red believes that it is now his responsibility to look after Becker. Amber ultimately agrees to return to the complex in order to retrieve her money. Red informs her that he has returned her funds to the room. She, on the other hand, cannot find her money anywhere in the room. Red then confesses that his father Arthur was an eccentric collector who discovered the stone box in Mexico. He was a psychopath who murdered Red's mother. Amber begins to panic and seeks to flee, but Red thwarts her efforts. He then tells her that, if she hadn't left, he would have returned her money and she could have left, but now that Becker is seen, Red says his brother needs her. Becker then appears and forces Amber to consume booze. She attempts to fend him off, but he forces it down her throat. Prior to locking her in the room, Red attempts to warn her not to leave, because Becker will exacerbate the situation. Petra and Maria eventually ask Amber to let them in. They too are fleeing Becker, who reveals himself to be guarding the exit. They both recall seeing the stone box in their dream and seeing no way out. Petra and Maria begin singing in order to console themselves. While Amber is dreaming and seeing Mary's spirit calling her, she abruptly awakens and finds Maria and Petra screaming for help. Red and Becker make an attempt to escort them downstairs. The females struggle back, but are easily subdued by the two men. The doorbell suddenly rings. Becker dispatches Red to the door. Beto is at the door, searching for Amber. Red attempts to evict Beto, but Beto notices Amber's coat hanging by the door. Amber then smashes the window in order to alert Beto. Beto slams Red to the ground and rushes upstairs to assist her. Beto, the homeboy, approaches Amber's door. This is not going to be a pleasant experience for Beto. Becker then appears and brutally beats him to death, while Amber begs Becker to stop. Amber is then locked in a room with Maria and Petra. Becker later removes Maria and instructs Red to prepare Amber. Amber inquires as to why he is even bothering to do this for his maniacal brother. If Becker is not performing these rituals for fun, Red responds. Becker's illness was cured through these rituals. He reveals that the two brothers returned to their parents following their inability to pay Becker's medical bills. They returned home and witnessed what their father used to do to females. Their mother Mary used to assist them in this endeavor. However, Arthur assassinated her as well. Their father was assassinated by the two brothers. Red desired to leave the house, but Becker persisted, and soon, like their father, Becker began spending an inordinate amount of time at the box. Becker believes that the box shows him and comforts him. Amber begs Red to release her, but he hands her over to Becker. Other victims' spears look on as Becker carries Amber into the basement. He removes Maria's beheaded body from the stone table and replaces it with Amber. He then opens the enigmatical box and abandons Amber with him. Suddenly, unusual noises begin to emanate from the box. Amber begins to flow over once more as a creature slowly emerges from the box and makes an attempt to consume Amber's head. Amber becomes aware that something is wrong in her dream. Amber's mother attempts to console her, but Amber informs her that she wishes to leave. When Amber's mother persists, Amber strangles her mother to death and awakens from her dream to discover the creature has returned to the box. When she takes the lid off, she discovers a skeleton. Amber overhears Becker and Red discussing how to prepare Petra for the ritual. She retrieves one of Arthur's ancient weapons from the study and repeatedly strikes Red with it. She then assaults Becker, but he hurls her to the floor, breaking her ankle. He then murders her with a weapon. However, Petra intervenes. Becker, enraged, grabs Petra and brutally throws her from the balcony. He then begins strangling Amber, but she slits his throat with a pointed object. She then seizes the relic and butchers him to death. She then hears Red moving about in the adjacent room. She descends to the cellar and presents him to the creature. She stands by and watches as the creature decapitates Red. Amber then departs with a broken ankle. However, all of her wounds suddenly heal, and she realizes she was healed by sacrificing Red. The end. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.